I wish I could say I never forgot my greens after what happened to my father. But a few years later, life got loud, and I made the same mistake. My mother always made sure I had my greens when I still lived with the family. It was her duty as the matriarch. And when I moved away for college, she still made sure I came home in time for New Year's, so she could watch me eat my portion. That changed during my final year in that small college town. I worked at the local thrift store, best employee they had, and they knew it. I took the shifts nobody else wanted. One of those shifts was the closing shift on New Year's Eve. I'd be there late and back again early the next morning. Not glamorous, but after losing a week of work to COVID, I needed the money. Ma made sure I picked up my greens earlier that week, so I could still have my portion, even if I couldn't make it home. We agreed it was better for me to rest than stress about traveling. At that time, I lived with 3 other people in a run-down house we paid way too much for. The kitchen floor had been caving in for months, and despite our begging, the landlord did nothing. The house was a shotgun style, front door to back door in a straight line, with 4 bedrooms clearly added piecemeal over the years. The kitchen and living room were later repairs from a landlord who thought watching one YouTube video made him a contractor. I loved the front porch, though. I'd sit out there after work, watching people come in and out of the old Piggly Wiggly, or grab food from the McDonald's across the street. Sometimes there'd be a fight between college kids and local addicts, our own free entertainment. The front door wouldn't stay closed unless it was deadbolted, so we always came and went through the back into the living room. More often than not, we'd find our roommate Rick drunk on the couch. He was drunk so often, we made a group chat to warn each other when to avoid coming home. Over time, Rick's drinking turned violent. He stabbed furniture, punched holes in the walls, tried to start fights. Some days I'd get home from a shift and find him sprawled across the couch with 2 bottles, muttering nonsense. I'd say hi. He'd throw something at me. I'd flip him off, lock my bedroom door, and climb out the window onto the porch. Then I'd text the group and walk to our friend's house, Rick's ex, who took us in more times than I can count. The night of New Year's, everyone except me was out of town with family. So, imagine my surprise when I got home after a long shift and found Rick passed out on the couch. He was surrounded by bottles, snoring like a congested baby. I shook my head, went to my room, and took a desperately needed shower. My bones ached. My brain felt scrambled after covering for a sick cashier. And all I wanted was sleep. I changed into sweats and passed out almost immediately. It wasn't until 11 p.m. that I woke up, groggy, disoriented, thirsty. I stumbled to the kitchen for water and took in the mess in the living room. Rick was still asleep without a care in the world. I knew it'd be left for me to clean in the morning, and if it wasn't spotless by the time he woke up, he'd throw a fit. So, I figured I'd get a head start. I grabbed the kitchen trash can and started collecting bottles. The clinking grew louder and louder. Rick stirred and grumbled, but didn't wake. Trying to be decent, stupidly so. I grabbed a drink from the fridge he wouldn't regret in the morning. I placed it next to him just as I started sweeping up the chips on the floor. That's when I felt his eyes on me. Heavy, creeping, hungry. My skin crawled, but sadly, that was a feeling I'd gotten used to around him. When I leaned over the end table to get the chips underneath, Rick moved. He slapped my ass. I spun around, ready to cuss him out, but the look on his face froze me solid. He was smiling wide, teeth crooked, eyes glazed but focused in a predatory way. The boy I used to call a friend was gone. What sat in front of me saw prey. I wish I could tell you I slapped him back to his senses, that I stood up for myself, that a lifetime of being treated like an easy target had finally pushed me to fight. But that would be a lie. His expression told me everything I needed to know. He wanted something I'd never willingly give him. Even now, remembering that look makes my stomach turn. I dumped the dustpan in the trash, walked to my room, locked the door, and didn't look back. I climbed out the window onto the front porch, finally feeling a breath of relief as I cried quietly into the cold air. The winter wind burned my lungs, but it grounded me. Then Rick came to my door. At first, he knocked politely, asking to be let in. Then he started pounding, demanding. The door was old wood, not nearly strong enough to hold him for long. I knew that. I reached through the window, grabbed my purse, shut it from the outside, and climbed off the porch. As I rounded the house towards the cars, I heard a crack. I learned later that was my bedroom door breaking. I got into my car and peeled out of the yard. I didn't know where I was going, just knew I couldn't be back there. My body went on autopilot, and before long, I realized I was heading toward my parents' house. Home. Safety. I was 20 minutes away when everything went wrong. The light was green for me as I passed through an intersection. A car sped through their red light and T-boned me. I remember the moment before impact, seeing them coming, realizing where they'd hit, and jerking my car forward just enough to shift the force from the front driver's door to the back driver's side. That decision may have saved my life. I blacked out for a second. When I came to, I was trapped. My door was caved in around me. The passengers from the other car stumbled out and started screaming at me. "You dumb bitch! My daddy's gonna ruin you! He's gonna kill you! I hope you die in there!" I was terrified. I grabbed my phone from my purse, but instead of calling 911, I called my parents. I needed them. My mother answered on the third ring. "Baby, what's wrong?" "I've been in an accident," I sobbed. "Please, come help me. I'm stuck." She yelled for my dad to get the keys while she tried to keep me calm. "It's okay. It's gonna be okay, baby. Breathe. Call 911. Tell them where you are. We're coming." I did as she said. It felt like forever. But the police and EMTs arrived. One EMT assessed the damage and asked if I could climb out the passenger side. With help, I could. They took me to the worst hospital in the area. A doctor looked me over, asked my pain level. I told him 6, but I think I'm in shock. I can't feel it all yet. He didn't order x-rays, didn't run tests, just gave me slightly stronger ibuprofen and discharged me within 20 minutes. By the time I signed the paperwork, my mother arrived. She rushed to me, sobbing as she checked me over. When she led me to her van, she asked softly, "Did you eat your greens tonight?" Shame flooded me. "No, I grabbed my purse and left so fast. I forgot." She didn't scold me, didn't say a word. She just reached into her bag, pulled out a small container, and placed it in my hands. "Eat." I did. She drove me home. I didn't go back to work for a week while my primary doctor checked me thoroughly. No broken bones. Just bruises everywhere. And a muscle injury in my hip I still have today. For the record, muscle injuries can be permanent. I'm lucky mine is manageable. I never told the roommates what Rick did, and only told my family we got in a fight. The landlord fixed my door while I was gone. The others came back, and about a month later, Rick was taken to a psych ward after a breakdown. He stayed there for months until his father took him home. I only saw him once more on the last day of our lease. He didn't speak, just grabbed his things and left.